A little bad weather doesn't stop art and music lovers from going on a Main Street stroll.
And the campus community enjoys a seasonal potluck to honor Native heritage.
Plus, the town of Pembroke gets a grant to aid in storm recovery. I'm Mihaela Trace.
And I'm Jayla Coley. Those stories and more coming up on Carolina News Today. A Parkton man is being held without bond in the shooting death of his brother. According to the Robeson County Sheriff's Office, 21-year-old Isaiah Mcnair is charged with first-degree murder and discharging a weapon into an occupied vehicle. On Saturday, deputies had responded to a call on Bergson Drive about a gunshot victim. Upon their arrival, they found 29-year-old Isaac E. Mcnair deceased. Officers say the shooting was a result of a dispute between the siblings. The younger Mcnair is also charged with felony possession of marijuana and maintaining a dwelling for a controlled substance.
The town of Pembroke will receive a $62,000 grant to create a stormwater utility program. The program will help maintain water quality and reduce flooding and runoff concerns within the town. The stormwater management funding comes from the State Attorney General's office, which is granting more than $400,000 to communities in southeastern North Carolina. Pembroke will make use of this environmental enhancement grant after community input and with an eye to writing stormwater ordinances.
The cold, rainy weather wasn't great for Lumberton's first Main Street stroll on Thursday. It was designed as an art stroll featuring musicians and locally produced visual arts. It was a fundraiser charging admission and offering wine at select locations, such as the Happenings on M Wine Bar. Participation downtown venues between 5:30 and 7 p.m. included the Carolina Civic Center, the Inner Peace Center for the Arts, and Adelo's Italian Restaurant. Local singers entertained at each stop. Proceeds from the art stroll will go to the nonprofit organization Friends of Street Lumberton.
Several organizations on campus got together to help Chinese students celebrate the annual Moon Festival. It's based on the lunar calendar and doubles as a harvest festival. It's a traditional observance in many Asian countries. According to UNCP's Chinese Students and Scholars Association, it's the second most important holiday in China next to Chinese New Year. On campus, the Chinese students show off their skills and games for an educational event that's open to everybody. They also cooked up a batch of mooncakes and offered other Chinese snacks. It's hard to be away from family during the holidays, so the Office of Global Engagement helps put on the Moon Festival every year to help the international students feel more at home.
The UNCP Faculty Senate recently took up the topic of poor attendance and homework not turned in. Some people blame the pandemic. Is that the cause for this lack of motivation or inability to perform? We asked around.
There are some classes that aren't like fully percent, but it's like 90% at least. I don't think people are like not going to class because of COVID, because a lot of classes also have masks all the way up. So no, I wouldn't say so.
I think it's just unmotivation, to be honest. I think one of my classes is like 25 students, and it started off with only 3 of us actually in class, and it might have at most been 10 by the end of the period.
It's actually gone up a little bit more, so I think it's pretty good.
A regular cold and everything, but everybody assumes that it's COVID, so everyone's just scared to go to class because of that.
Yes, I've noticed a lack of attendance due to COVID in multiple ways.
Not really. All of my classes are really full. We have like 30-something students in there.
If students like are motivated, I guess not, you know.
I don't know if it's COVID or people are just tired, but people haven't been coming as much.
The Department of American Indian Studies hosted their 13th annual Foodways event Thursday in the UC Annex. It's a potluck to honor indigenous agriculture and recipes of the region. They originally started it for a class to talk about the real Thanksgivings and the alternatives to Thanksgiving. But it has evolved into a community event where all on campus are welcome to sample some good home cooking.
I was thinking that probably I will be listening to a lecture about Native American food heritage and culture and tradition, and then probably I'll be able to sample a few things. But then when I came in, everybody welcomed me. I was at the center of their attention. It felt to me that I'm the guest of honor here, you see? And then I was given an opportunity to choose the dish that I like, and they gave me details of each and every dish they were serving. So that way I was able to see what I am interested in.
These are all heritage foods. They're cooked in a range of different ways. So, you know, this is a chance to just have a little nibble and decide maybe you do like collards or turnip greens after all, and you never thought you did. So be adventurous and think about all the native peoples and ancestors who put so much energy into creating and saving these foods and still cook and eat them today.
My experience is that I'm a very picky eater, and that this food is, I think, for everyone. Tons of cornbread. I love cornbread, especially the fried cornbread. That was amazing. Collards, never had them for the first time, and it was delicious.
I love this event since they've been having since I was an undergrad. I always tried to come, and I'm always excited for the deer hash, but it's just nice Southern home cooking. So I grew up from here, so it's kind of like I'm used to it and I love it.
There were definitely some fan favorites among all the choices at the buffet, including the deer meat, also known as venison.
What I like about today was the deer hash. It was really good, and I also love the deer sausage.
Definitely the deer hash. Definitely the deer hash.
The corn and black bean salsa, and I liked it because it was different and really interesting, and I really liked it, and I wasn't expecting it. And I didn't really get any recipes from today, but it would be interesting to look into that as well.
Okay, so what I like best is absolutely the cornbread. It's probably one of my favorite meals to eat, especially on a Sunday when we gather together with family.
The thing that I probably liked best was the sweet potato bread. I love sweet potato bread, and I love sweets. And something new that I tried was the corn casserole. It was different, and I really enjoyed it.
This is an important event, an opportunity to learn more about the school, about the people that go to the school, and about the food that is common within the area of Pembroke. This is one event I am glad I went to.
Sunday marked the end of daylight savings. This means that it would be a good idea to change your batteries in your smoke detector and make it a habit every year at this time. So far this year, 109 people in North Carolina have died because of fire. In most of those instances, a working smoke alarm was not present. In the home, according to the National Fire Protection Association, families have about 2 minutes to get out of their homes once their smoke alarm sounds. In addition to changing your smoke detector's battery, it's important to prepare and practice an escape plan, place smoke detectors on every floor, and teach children what the smoke alarm sounds like and what they should do when they hear it.
Coming up, horror at a popular music festival, and the latest on the ensuing investigation.
And TikTok turns out to be instructional for one young teen rescued in Kentucky.
Don't go away, we'll be right back.
So I understand that there may be some hesitancy in wanting to go get the vaccination. Of course, just with anybody, I was nervous, kind of just what if and all the questions answered, but I did do my research. So I received my first vaccination on April 9th, 2021, and my second vaccination on April 23rd, 2021. I decided I wanted to go ahead and get that vaccination so that I can be safe and be around my family, see friends, and just to be able to do it in a safe way. I would encourage you to do your research, talk to a physician, go to the CDC website, and once that's done, get your vaccination. This is our best defense against COVID-19.
123 years after he was killed in the Wilmington Massacre, Joshua Halsey was laid to rest with full honors in North Carolina Saturday. Halsey was shot by a white supremacist in November of 1898 when they overthrew Wilmington's local government, which was controlled by African Americans. Members of the nonprofit Third Party Project were able to locate his unmarked grave and give his family the funeral he never had. The ceremony was also symbolic for the unknown number of victims murdered in the Wilmington Massacre. While their graves may never be found, organizers hope the funeral will provide healing for a dark chapter in North Carolina history.
A deadly crowd surge at the Astroworld Music Festival in Houston Friday night ended up crushing and killing multiple people. Britt Conway of CNN News Source has the latest on the local investigation.
Astroworld, a two-day music festival headlined and organized by rapper Travis Scott, with tens of thousands of people packed in to party. Now, a criminal investigation after the crowd surged toward the stage, crushing people up front.
There was just nowhere to go and no air to breathe.
There were pleas to stop the concert.
I was right next to a pretty strong chant of "Stop the show and help us."
Dozens were hurt and at least 8 people were killed. But how did this happen?
That's the question that we're working feverishly to determine. We want to look at every single detail, looking at the site plans, the security plans, talking with the producers of this concert, Live Nation.
One concert goer who says he was knocked down and trampled filed a lawsuit against Travis Scott, entertainment company Live Nation, and concert promoter Scoremore, among others, saying they, quote, made the conscious decision to let the show go on despite the extreme risks of harm to concert goers, pointing to people being trampled in a stampede through the gate earlier in the day, along with incidents at other Travis Scott concerts. He says he's in shock too.
I'm honestly just devastated.
I'm Britt Conway, reporting.
While the TikTok app has been criticized for encouraging some dangerous behavior, here's a story of how it may have helped save a life. A 6-year-old girl from North Carolina has been reunited with her family after being taken across state lines by a 61-year-old man. Deputies in Kentucky say motorists observed the girl giving a hand signal she learned on TikTok, indicating that she was in danger. Chad Hegritt of WKYT tells the story.
It's one of those times where social media is a good thing. The hours some can spend on trending sites like TikTok now being credited with saving a teen girl's life.
There was some people behind her that noticed that she was making hand gestures that signifies for "I need help." And with them recognizing that signal, they notified 911.
Deputies say the girl had gone missing from her Asheville, North Carolina home Tuesday. She was in a car going south on I-75, driven by James Herbert Brick. The two were coming back from Ohio when someone in another car noticed the girl's signals and called 911.
We don't know how long coming down the interstate from Ohio that she had been doing this to other motorists, hoping that they would notice that she was in distress.
This is the video that started the trend. It came from the Canadian Women's Foundation, but has spread around the world.
I've been doing this work for a long time, where we talk about safety with survivors, with neighbors, like how you flip your light on, or do you have a certain code word if you text it to somebody that would say that you need help or in danger. So there's always been these trends towards finding safety from community, and I think this is another platform to do so.
Darlene Thomas is the executive director of Greenhouse 17, an advocacy group for abuse victims.
And I also find it incredible that as a community, as a society, we're paying attention. We're taking care of each other. So we can't do it if we don't speak the same language.
A universal language of needing help and being able to notice the signals.
We're all in our own little worlds thinking about where we're going, what we're going to be doing. You know, maybe we just need to take notice and see what's going on around us.
The U.S. will reopen its borders on Monday for fully vaccinated international visitors, ending a ban on foreign travelers that started more than a year ago. It's a welcome change for the families separated by the pandemic. It's a sign of hope for the battered travel industry. CNN Richard Quest tells us more.
These are the routes that keep the global economy moving. For more than 18 months, they've been painfully quiet. Back at the start of the COVID pandemic, then President Donald Trump announced he was banning most travel into the United States. Few would have predicted that ban would last for most of 2021 as well. Most travelers, some from the United States' closest allies, barred from visiting. For loved ones, that means separated by borders, months of heartache. And for the airlines, it spelt financial disaster.
We keep outlining the economic impact of staying closed and the human impact. So there's a lot of people haven't been able to visit family in the US, they haven't been able to reunite. You know, both countries have huge amounts of foreign direct investment going both ways, and that's going to be impacted by this impasse.
As COVID levels ebbed and flowed and vaccinations began to be rolled out, the US position did not change, much to the frustration of European leaders. The travel ban seriously harms vital economic and human ties at a time when they're most needed, tweeted the EU ambassador in Washington. And Americans were able to travel overseas, with some restrictions like vaccination, testings or quarantines. I'm a UK citizen, so I could fly from New York to London on JetBlue's inaugural trip, and it was packed. The return journey, because I'm a green card holder, I could travel, not so. Because Brits, even those fully vaccinated, are not allowed into the United States, well, this plane, it's about a quarter full. All in all change on Monday. Vaccinated travellers finally able to visit the land of the free. Separated families, a moment to cherish. And for the global economy, a sign that things may be getting closer to normal. Richard Quest, CNN, New York.
As the U.S. continues to face a labor shortage, a new initiative is looking to get people interested in one of America's oldest industries. The Creators Wanted campaign is aimed at giving young Americans the skills they need to work in manufacturing. Chris Wynn explains how it works and why manufacturing is in desperate need of new recruits.
Across America, efforts are underway to build a skilled workforce of the future as the country faces a labor shortage.
Our job is to create a solution to fill that skills gap.
That's why the National Association of Manufacturers and its nonprofit workforce development and education partner, the Manufacturing Institute, have launched a nationwide campaign called Creators Wanted, which includes multiple tour stops and online learning, all aimed at encouraging young Americans to explore careers in modern manufacturing.
All roads lead back to manufacturing. Those high-skilled, high-technology jobs are what enable us to make the world a better place.
A study by Deloitte and the Manufacturing Institute found that the manufacturing skills gap in the U.S. could result in more than 2 million unfilled jobs by 2030 and potentially cost the economy up to $1 trillion.
We should definitely be going around with them in a very systematic manner to build up the skill level of workforce to compete, and other countries are doing that.
Manufacturing executives say some people are reluctant to work in factories, in part because of fears about robots taking over and jobs getting shipped overseas. But educators say programs like the Creators Wanted Tour could help put students at ease.
Young people can engage in those hands-on experiences to teach them and to expose them to the various careers that exist within any profession.
A chance for some of our nation's youth to consider jobs that they never knew could be theirs.
Manufacturing is more than what everyone thinks it is.
Tymir Lohman recently took part in the tour and plans to eventually start his own clothing line.
It gave me a different look on everything. It gives me something that I can think about for the rest of my life with my business or any other business.
Providing students with skills that could help them succeed in the 21st century. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
The North Carolina company Krispy Kreme is mixing traditional Thanksgiving flavors with its donuts this year. The company has released 4 new treats for a limited time, but don't worry, none of them are turkey flavored. The pecan pie donut is a Krispy Kreme original glazed donut dipped in butter tart filling and sprinkled with candied pecans and pie crust crumbles. There's also a Dutch apple pie donut stuffed with apple pie filling and dipped in caramel icing, topped with cinnamon. And what's Thanksgiving without some cranberry? They've got a donut filled with cranberry and dipped in cranberry orange icing. Lastly, there's the Gobbler donut, shaped like a heart, decorated with chocolate and topped with sprinkles and a turkey face.
A lopsided outcome on the gridiron leaves Braves fans scratching their heads.
But victories on the right side of the equation for other Pembroke programs. Keep the school looking good in Conference Carolinas.
Andrew Thrift will tell us what's up when Carolina News Today returns after these messages.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years and I got my 3rd child who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Hey Brave Nation, I've got some big wins to talk about today, but also that depressing defeat at Grace B. Johnson Stadium on Saturday for Braves football. So let's get into it. The Braves were holding their own near the top of the conference standing as they headed into their matchup against Notre Dame of Ohio on American Indian Heritage Day. The Braves scored on the first drive of the game with a 4-yard touchdown pass from Josh Jones to C.J. Davis, followed by the point after. But it was all downhill from there. The Braves never got on the board again, and Alex Hodges' field goal veered left in the wind, and the Braves were stymied by blocked punts and a variety of other turnovers that turned into Notre Dame scoring plays. They basically got clobbered, and the Braves fans were left bewildered over some of the officiating. After the game, Coach Richardson said the team seemed to self-destruct after the first quarter.
I thought we had a great first quarter to start out with. Guys were ready to play. We were really excited, came with a lot of energy. We were executing. The learning lesson here is we've got to be able to do that for 4 quarters. And, things started to just kind of not go our way. We did some self-destructing things, and it just kind of spiraled, I thought. And, give them credit. I mean, when you play against a good team, you can't make those mistakes. You can't do the things that are not going to put you in good positions and, expect that it's not going to hurt you.
It was senior day for the Braves, and Coach Richardson said that loss was no way for the seniors to go out. He's looking for them to step up this week as they prepare for their last game against Concord University in Athens, West Virginia.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys in that group that are leaders, are captains, have had a lot of plays for us on the field, a lot of experience, and we need to finish the right way. We need to finish 7-4, and we need to make sure that those guys go out the right way. They've got to lead the charge on that, and the players have to drive the train here the last week. And it would be very easy for us to throw in the towel and just think, oh, woe is us after a 45-7 loss, and we're not going to do that. And coaches are going to coach hard, and the seniors and the leaders are going to lead hard, and we're going to go out and we're going to practice hard, and we're going to make sure that we take care of business here for one final week of college football for the 2021 season.
Quarterback Josh Jones said obviously the loss was disappointing, but the team is up for the challenge of learning from it in the time for Saturday's next road game.
We'll watch the film from this week and see what we did wrong and learn from it, and then go on next week like we always do, and go out with a bang and try and get a win. And it'll be a tough challenge. Got to go on the road and all that, but we'll be ready, and we'll have a good week of prep.
At the NCAA Cross Country Southeast Regional on Saturday, the Braves' Joshua Chepkesser cruised to a second-place finish in the 10K, just 5 seconds behind the meet champion from Queen's University. The men's team came in 7th out of 23 teams. Chepkesser earned all-region honors for the 3rd time. His focus now turns to the D2 National Championship event on November 20th in Tampa, Florida. On the women's side, the team came in 8th place out of 22. Ermin Japletting competed in the 6K and came in 22nd with a personal best time of 22:27.5. The Braves secured a 3-1 victory in their first ever matchup against King University Tornadoes on Friday night after losing the first set. The Braves were behind 23-17 at the end of the first set and managed to battle back for their 6-point deficit. The rally wasn't good enough though, and the Braves lost the first set 25-23. The Braves used this momentum to carry them through the next 3 sets, where they dominated the Tornado. The Braves won 25-12 in the second set, 25-16 in the third set, and 25-17 in the fourth. The win marked the 3rd straight home victory for the Braves, who continued their win streak at home the very next day against Lees-McRae College. They'll duke it out tomorrow night against Francis Marion University for the Conference Carolinas regular season title. The Braves swimming team came home with championship honors this past Saturday in the Guilford College Invitational. They were able to take first place over 7 other schools and scored 580 total points throughout the event. Jillian Manning took first place in the 100-yard butterfly and 200-yard freestyle. Marielle Mencia Martinez also took the first in 50 and the 100-yard freestyle. The Braves got a nice break before heading to Cary for the William Peace Invitational, November 18th through the 20th. Braves Wrestling had 5 tournament champions in the annual Pembroke Classic in the Jones Center on Sunday, including senior Nick Daggett in the 125-pound weight class. 4 additional Braves went to the podium in second place, and overall, UNCP sent 18 wrestlers to pick up medals in every weight class, although some went all the way out to 6th place. The Braves will next see home action on November 18th in a conference matchup against Lincoln Memorial. That's a wrap on Weekend in Sports. Coming up Friday, Braves soccer takes on North Greenville in the Conference Carolina semifinals.
Thanks, Andrew. Women's basketball is home this weekend, right?
That's right. They'll be against Cocker University Friday and Wingate on Sunday at 6:30 p.m.
All right, well, I'll try to catch one of those games in person. That's a wrap for another episode of Carolina News Today. I'm Jayla Coley.
And I'm Andrew Thrift. Thanks to Mihaela Trace, who was here earlier in the show, and thank you to all our subscribers for watching. We'll see you next week.